this figured out. We're live.
Hello.
Hey, Jennifer.
East Coast.
Actually, I don't know if she's in here. That was at 2:16. Okay, this is confusing. Nobody's in here. There it is. Okay, now there's two people.
One of them's probably you.
Oh, yeah. Probably Mom.
Hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. We did a lot of.
Thank you. I'm on my phone.
We had a lot of. How many people will be watching the play?
Well, that's true. Okay.
So we just worked more or less. We didn't. We did not do too much fun stuff.
No.
Jennifer's back, and Chris Hatcher.
Oh, hey guys.
So, hope you guys had a good Labor Day weekend. Hope the weather was good where you were at. It was beautiful compared to what we've had. Grounds Family Farm. And, of course, Grandma Teresa.
We're kind of testing this out here. We're going to try to do lives Monday nights. I don't know who else is doing them. Then I know Doug and Stacey.
Chris, we have not did dove hunting. We're kind of central Oklahoma, and there's not a lot of agriculture, milo, corn, anything like that in our area. I mean, there is a little bit down on the river, but last time I drove by, those cornfields were still standing, and I know people that have corn down there, but I still can't get permission to hunt them. People are pretty tight with that. And then on top of that, dove numbers just aren't very good lately, seems like. I wish, if we do any dove hunting, probably what we're going to do is leave out on like a Saturday evening and drive up to the Panhandle and find some OLAP, Oklahoma leases private land for walk-in access hunting.
We should have done that this weekend.
This weekend would have been with the cool front coming in, and not having serious football this weekend, we should have went up there and done that.
Yeah,
there's probably some good bird shooting that went on up in the Panhandle.
My cousin down in Texas killed them though. I'll find a picture. I don't know how many they killed, but that was day 2 also.
Yeah, well, his dove season doesn't open up till Saturday. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with Arkansas. I know there's quite a bit of agriculture in places, and if you were in the right spot, I bet there's pretty good dove shooting goes on there.
We got
a lot of Arkansas folks in here.
We haven't killed that many altogether in years. That was day 1, and
I did some pretty good dove shooting last year.
That's a lot.
I'm not going to admit to breaking any laws on my YouTube live, but there were some doves killed.
Whoops, there's a picture. That's day 2. So, I don't know what their bag limit is or how many was there.
Quail, whenever I was a kid, there used to be a lot of quail in Oklahoma. Probably the last 15, 20 years, it has not been really very good. There's been years here and there where they come back for just a season, but then the next season they're gone.
Hey, Clausen Family Homestead. Jennifer said she don't know anyone else goes live this time. Perfect. Doug and Stacey are live, but
one day we'll have enough subscribers to compete with their live.
Yeah. Which is funny because we're probably most like them. We're just more at the beginning of.
Johnny is in the house.
Hey, Johnny.
But yeah, I think that probably with what we would want to do with our homestead and the direction we would want to go, and politically, I'd say we align with Doug and Stacy a lot. But having 1 million subscribers would help us a long ways towards living off grid. That's what people don't understand is there ain't nothing cheap about. First of all, there ain't nothing cheap about homesteading,
no.
And there ain't nothing cheap about going off grid. So, if you were so fortunate as to have a big enough following that you made enough money to say, like one of my goals would be to put our water well on solar. I think that would be probably the most important thing to get off grid would be your water source. And but just that alone is very expensive. So I don't know. Maybe keeping my eye open. I need to be watching like the USDA grants and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind having a second water well drilled, and sometimes I think they even pay for like solar on your wells. So that'd be cool.
Chris said y'all like early buck hunt.
In Oklahoma, our archery season starts October. I don't know what you mean by early. I don't know if you mean like an August velvet hunt or what, but I typically don't like to deer hunt in early October because it's just so hot. Mosquitoes eat you up, and man, you shoot a deer, you got to have that thing on ice and probably less than a couple of hours or he's going to start going bad on you. On most days in October. Some days in October, when that weather gets cool, you really start feeling like going deer hunting. But lots of times it's just way too warm here.
They do or percentage. Hope to do a good Doug hunt soon.
I don't know. I've met Doug. He's a very genuine person. What was the name of that woman that did the exposing of them?
Patera.
I don't know if that was the name.
That's her.
But I don't know that I really believe her all that much because he's a very genuine guy. I know his in-laws live on their property in the actual house. I think they're pretty serious. I mean, do they use more amenities than they admit to? I'm sure they do. I mean, they got a really nice Airstream, like a $80,000 or $100-something thousand Airstream trailer. I mean, that's pretty fancy. But hey, if I was that successful, I'd probably have stuff like that too.
You gotta start. You have to read them all. Horseflies carry you off. Yes. Yeah, Chris said in our pasture it's full of deer. Our dogs keep any wildlife ran off out here. I like to deer hunt when there are less ticks and less rattlesnakes out and about. Yeah, it's definitely helpful. We had a 13-point double drop tine in our pasture and we only have 5 acres length. Wow. That's awesome. She said, YouTube don't like curtain words on a live. Something is, I won't read that out loud, as an alternative to, okay. My dad ended up killing him. On your property or something? Oh.
But, yeah, that's pretty cool. So we just bought, I don't know if you guys watched the video, but we just bought a Case 444 garden tractor, and it's going to kind of be Huxton's little project, but it's actually going to be a pretty useful tractor if we can get it operational. But my point is, where we picked it up was actually in Edmond, Oklahoma, in the in-city limits, but kind of rural, kind of like a rural neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there were some big old tom turkeys, big beards. I'm talking like 10, like this one had every bit of a 10-inch beard on him, and then the others were probably 8-inch beard turkeys. And he showed me pictures of a deer. He had probably a 190-inch deer in his backyard, and his wife wouldn't let him shoot it. And then it got shot just a couple miles away.
Oh, man. Who else? Oh, that was the people that came and picked up a puppy said that his mother would not let him shoot a deer on their property as well.
Yeah, I mean, so my experience with Doug is we went. So we had. I have like a little scale business, and we made some livestock scales, and we went to the Oklahoma Homesteaders Expo, and he was like the main event 2 years ago, and I got there 10 o'clock in the evening the day before, 11 o'clock maybe.
10. It was,
and he was riding around on a little electric bike,
yeah.
And he stopped in, and man, we hit it off, and we had sincere, genuine conversations. I would say spiritually, our beliefs, and politically. And he doesn't fake any of his beliefs and stuff. Now, I tend to believe that he's very legitimate in the sense of, do they put their own meat in their freezer? Yes. Do they grow a lot of their own vegetables? Yes. Do they truly make their own products and use them? I believe they do. I just don't think that that's fake. Could they go sleep in that house when it's 110 and it's 95 degrees outside at night? I would. But they have. But I mean, they have set up a off-grid cabin, and how many people can honestly say that they have a fairly? I mean, I don't really believe in self-sufficiency. Not if you're going to maintain a living structure and truly try to raise all your own food, because there's going to be years where the rain just doesn't come and you don't have a garden. There's going to be years where you have some kind of sickness come through your sheep and you don't have any kids to butcher. So I really don't believe in self-sufficiency, but I believe that if anybody's close to it, it's them. And they also live in an Amish community where I remember years ago he is actually friendly with the Amish. I know he dresses like he's Amish, but he truly is friendly with them. John Goes Outdoors is in here.
Jennifer said, "Isn't that funny? I seen live shut down mainly for stupid things, but others do the same and nothing." We actually did get a strike on a live. We won't get into that so we don't get another one. But
well, if they shut my live off, I don't care. I ain't that worried about it.
John Goes Outdoors.
They can't give me a strike
for
that particularly.
I said, guys, I read his thing. Hey, John.
Speaking of deer hunting, though, John had a pretty decent trail camera picture up in a little short video of a nice buck.
I make it a point to say the trigger words in every live we do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain point to where, honestly, there's so much stuff that YouTube won't let us do. It's very tempting just to give up and say, man, I'm tired of this censorship. Like, is it even worth it? But I have a line where if I can't do a certain amount of stuff on YouTube, if I can't talk about a certain amount of things, like if I can't at least still use keywords like safe and effective, if there's certain amount of things that will just shut me off to YouTube and I'll just be done with it. It becomes useless at a certain point. Social media does. I'm not here to be famous. I'm here to network, to learn, and mainly just to document what we do. You know, it's nice being able to go back and back. You know, when you feel unaccomplished, go back and look at everything that you actually did do. And that's only, I mean, how much of what we actually do around here gets on camera?
Yeah.
5% of what we have to do or go through.
Probably.
You know, I mean, we film tons of times and it's just way too much stress to keep up with the camera, and we just throw it to the side and we do what we got to do.
But we're going to get better about just filming. I was watching what is it? Paragon Ridge Ranch, I think. Paragon Ridge, their channel, and she was just saying they just need to start filming more, which is our goal too. Definitely just start filming more. It's almost impossible to be fully self-sufficient, even if we were rich. Yes, that's true. Hey, Jenny. Have a good blessed day, guys.
Speaking of self-sufficiency, though, what is how many months do you think you should be able to sustain yourself in like an emergency situation? How many months do you think would be a good starting point to be able to say, like, I've got food and I've got water taken care of for X amount of months? What would you guys say would be a good amount of time? To maybe say there was like a catastrophic event, say there's an EMP and we lose power and people go absolutely nuts, and the cities come out and they start pillaging, trying to pillage the country folk, trying to leave the cities, et cetera, et cetera. How many months do you think you need supplies to get by before it's safe to start going out and looking for more stuff, or for maybe things to get a little more civilized again?
Austin said, I believe when the lights get shut off, it's because there's a snitch in the crowd. Probably so. I agree with that. Jennifer said, I was watching Justin at Spirit of the Outdoors a while back, and he was shut down out of nowhere. He posted a video later because you could see a pew-pew. Wasn't being waved or held, just in sight. Yeah, I've heard that happening too on kids' video. John said he's just putting a video together right now. Cool. Can't wait to see it. Nana's in the house.
A bow fishing
video. That's pretty cool.
I've got a buddy that's got a dang nice bow fishing boat. I need to get a hold of him back. Hey, I got $100 for gas. Let's go. Clausen Family Homestead said 3 months would be a good number, and that, I believe 3 months is a very feasible starting point. Where I think that a person should start on as far as food goes is rice and beans. They together have your complete amino acids, which is extremely important to surviving and maintaining physical condition. Your amino acids, you don't even have to have meat technically. So rice and beans, I believe, is probably the first thing somebody should put back. And then salt would probably be my number 3 as far as sustenance goes. Now, if you've got prescriptions, I don't know how, if you're absolutely dependent upon a prescription, I don't know exactly what to tell you, but 3 months probably ain't enough.
Looking into
I would start looking into
medication.
how to get away from the pharmaceutical industry, how you could potentially naturally correct your condition. Now, that borderlines getting your life shut down, what I just said. That is right on the verge of getting it shut off. But there are people who have reversed autoimmune issues and stuff like that.
Like MS and diabetes.
With things you're not allowed to talk about according to YouTube's policies.
They changed their policies so much I can't even remember what we're
I also don't go read their policies, but sometimes I hear like new things that have changed and I'm like, wow, I can't believe you can't say that. But if YouTube says you can't say it, there's probably very good merit to what that subject is. Just so you know.
One thing you can't talk about is the color. It's named after a color.
Metal.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a metal.
A valuable metal. One of the most valuable, typically used for currencies. Rhymes with pine said,
my mom did a year and a lot of powdered milk and other expired stuff.
Oh, milk, man. Yeah. Hey, if you've got does a freeze dryer powder milk?
Yes.
Man, if you had
you don't need a freeze dryer. You just need to dehydrate.
you just dehydrate it,
Yeah.
turns to powder.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you're milking a cow and you're going through all that work of milking it and buying all that alfalfa,
you can freeze it too, but that's not gonna help in the event of a
freezers are not reliable.
No. So
if you have a freezer full of meat, it may be a good idea to look into how much salt it would take to preserve. Say like right now we've got 300 pounds of beef in the freezer,
plus the inside house. We got some meat in there.
Plus what we have in the house. You may want to look into, if you carry 300 to 500 pounds of meat in your freezer at all times, you may want to look into how much salt it would take to preserve all that. Because I promise you, if an EMP happens tomorrow, you're not going to get your power back on. If you have a generator that can run for a week, you ain't getting your power back on the next week.
Or build a smokehouse.
Honestly, you may. If something like that happens, you may not ever get your power back on. So you need to look into salt big time.
Johnny said, I fired up several of our cellular trail cameras, lots of great bucks, bears, etc. Looking forward to hunting season this fall. Diana, Johnny. Hey, Lori. Thanks, sweet. I love you. Thank you, Jenny. It may not be a bad idea to live off what we have, because as you run out, you may not want to keep eating what's left. You can live off it. So the more you have, the better. I'm trying. I just have as much as I can. Yeah. I actually shoot stuff on my videos showing the entire deal and have never had an issue. Man, I'm not.
Yeah, so there's a lot of. What I would think is that probably the words like shoot or kill might hurt you in the algorithm if you're not already in there for.
Trying to get this out there, not dropping the algorithm.
I don't care. But it might hurt your algorithm if you're not already a really big, hunting channel or something like that, or a big, shooting channel, or pew pew tactical, or whatever these channels are. If you're not already big like that, it might hurt you in the algorithm. But hey, I can't look over my shoulder all the time. Rice,
Johnny
beans,
said,
and salt.
yeah.
Joy-filled Janae. Yep, rice, beans, and salt. Those will keep you alive a long time.
Didn't Dale get shut down or a strike for showing your intro? He didn't even do anything. I think it's just people reporting it more than anything. And it's just wild because there's so many dirty videos that are out there that are allowed to be on here. And horrible music videos. But music videos get a slide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what is the loophole that they operate under. It's art or something.
Yeah, it's the biggest. I guess if we just sing our lives, that's a music video, right? We just put a little tone to everything we say.
Speaking of, what's his name? That guy, that sad little man. He's got music videos that are very. They have a very I can't even say it.
Johnny said, I went to the ER today, Lisa. The ball is in motion to get surgery. That should help a lot. Feel better soon. Love to Christina. We got shut down during chilling with the Gillans.
Well, what do you think was said in that live that got you shut down?
14 people in the chat. Smash that like button. Yes, please hit the like button, guys. We appreciate it. I can't even see it on StreamYard. I'm trying to use this so I get used to it. Let's see. Oh, we only got 12 likes. We need 5 more. Let's see.
As far as we can tell, it was AI that somehow thought he did something with his hand motions.
So weird.
Yep.
Chris is back.
Dale must have been throwing up gang signs or something.
Should have just started singing immediately. and protested that it was a music video. I don't know how famous you have to be to get that to work, but our Louisiana Live. Hey guys, what's up? We talking deer hunting? We were.
We were talking about it a little bit. When does deer season open up in Louisiana? Jenny, we had talked to Farm to Table a little bit about it, but we do Little League football, and Saturday we're going to have games all day, so it's not really a good time to escape and get down there.
We can go Friday, or if you don't go, maybe I'll go down.
I only have so much paid time off, and deer season's coming up. We're talking about deer season.
You're gonna be off. You're gonna be working Friday. I'll just go.
That's what I said. I'll be working Friday.
I'll be down there with a surprise. I need to message Jack back. He asked me if we could volunteer.
You know what's crazy is I've seen people on lives with stuff like that anyways, and I haven't seen them get pulled off a live before. I mean, literally just like, you know, the new format where you scroll through it and it's like shorts, you know, it's vertical. I've seen them, you know, whatever, you know, I don't know. I just think YouTube doesn't like wholesome content. I think that you're just against, you know, it's rigged against you. And it's a lot more work if you're doing wholesome content to get in the algorithm, to get recommended out. It's a whole lot more work than if you're doing really stupid stuff.
Do y'all live in the Tornado Alley part of Oklahoma?
Pretty much.
Yeah, kind of. We used to live over in Hinton, which is south of El Reno, where the world's largest tornado hit back in 2013. And then we had that big one hit Shawnee last year.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
One hit South Shawnee, and Seminole got hit real bad.
Just barely been missing them.
Didn't we have one this last year between us and Prague?
Yeah, we're at Craig because a bunch of our friends got their windshields busted out by hail, and then a couple people got hit by a tornado, but it pretty much went through everybody's land instead. That has my heart feeling good. Thank you, Janae. I'll be doing deer hunting on my channel this season. We always start videos and then we never get it put together because it's just hard to get the actual.
Levi shot a deer.
Oh yeah, we did do that one.
Levi did get a deer on camera,
and
he hit a very nice buck with a muzzleloader, and we didn't find it. But
I feel
Jennifer said you can process your own chickens, but it's illegal to sell them. Yeah. Selling raw milk is illegal. All milk in Canada has to be Canada has to be pasteurized. It's hard to be healthy and make a living on a homestead here. So I buy from an Amish dairy milk and sometimes beef when I'm in the area. I won't be buying any beef, obviously, because lately we've got plenty. But I did stop in there and I bought some milk, and there was a new sign up that said you needed to see the owners and pay a $20 membership fee. And the way they do that now, because I guess the state got onto them, in Oklahoma you can sell 200 gallons, right? Something like that.
100.
Maybe
I think it's 100.
He told me 200 on the phone. But,
maybe they changed it.
But anyways, you could sell a certain amount of gallons of raw milk before you have to pasteurize and add the vitamins and stuff. But he's getting away with it. I guess the state's okay with it because they were on him pretty good, he said. but they sell a $20 membership, and it's basically an ownership share of the herd, and he feeds them and maintains the herd, and then you're able to come back and pay additional tips to him, tips for gallons of milk from the herd that you have part ownership in. So the Amish are getting away with it for now, like that here. But up in Pennsylvania, they've been doing that for a long time, and they've eventually, now the federal government's on top of them trying to shut them down.
Can you guys sell not for human consumption? We thought about opening up a flea market.
I'm so tired of the government being involved in our lives. If
that ain't going away.
If all we got to do is say no. 2020 was the biggest test of just saying no ever.
Yeah, and that didn't work very well, did it? Because we were one of very few that said no.
So this is my thoughts. As adults, we're able to go buy, legally in many states, drugs, alcohol, because we're consenting adults. We can put poison in our body. We're consenting. To a certain extent, okay, more power to you. I agree. But why can't I just go buy eggs? Why can't I just go buy beef? Why can't I just go buy milk? It's absolutely insane, and it makes no sense. Is raw milk really more dangerous than recreational drugs that many of these states have completely legalized?
Wendy over at Hard Knack Farms, she commented on our video earlier and said that they're really hacking down on the tax man's hacking down on new buildings and stuff. You're missing a bunch of comments up here. A whole bunch. Why'd you do that?
Because you were way behind and I need to see what was going on.
Well, you talked too long. Y'all OSU fans. Razorbacks will be at OSU Saturday.
So, sports.
See, you're going to go on a long thing again. I can't get the comment.
So, sports. I grew up, I would say this. Sports kept me out of a lot of trouble growing up. Football, particularly. And I did a little bit of shot put and discus and track. But sports kept me out of a lot of trouble. Taught me a lot of my work ethic. I like the competitive aspect of sports, and I love watching my kids play sports, and I love getting them to be aggressive and competitive, disciplined. I love, so even like, for example, with Huxton, he's the youngest kid on the team probably this year. He doesn't get to play much, but I love it when I look at the sideline and he's standing there and he's paying attention and he's excited and ready for his coach to call his name so he can get in there, play a little bit, while all the other kids are goofing off. I love the discipline. I love the competition and a lot of what comes with sports. But as you start to get into college sports and professional sports, I've lost a lot of interest in them over the last probably six years. I've lost a lot of interest.
When Colin Kaepernick came into the scene, basically.
Colin Kaepernick, 2020, numerous things. What I would say about a lot of these higher level sports is, if you're familiar with the term bread and circus, a lot of it is distraction and just to keep you entertained and keep you pacified. And then, and I'll admit, that's one of the reasons I was a big Green Bay Packers fan. And one of the reasons I liked watching the NFL was because I could watch it and I didn't, I was involved in politics, but when I was watching the NFL, it was like, I didn't have to care about politics or any of these other things going on in the world. I could watch that game on Thursday night or whatever the case was. But whenever they started dragging the politics and all that into these sports, I was like, you know what? I have no use for it anymore. I have zero use for the NFL now. In college, I was just generally an Oklahoma fan. So like Tulsa, if Tulsa was playing, I was going to watch it. If OU was playing, I was going to watch it. If OSU was playing, I was going to watch it. Where I drew my distinction was like with OSU and OU, if OU had the chance of making the playoffs, I was going to watch, or I was going to root for OU. But if OSU had a chance to make the playoffs, I would rather OSU win because I just wanted them to represent Oklahoma.
I like
so there's the long
better.
answer. I like Mike Gundy, but he did
Angelica's in here.
give in to them over his One American News Network T-shirt.
I liked when I came in. Please give us a thumbs up. Yes, please do. Dale made a handmade motion.
Our Louisiana Life, October 1st is both season. That's the same here in Oklahoma, October 1st.
Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up on all these comments really quick. Shayla, I may go, maybe we go together. Yes, I want everyone to come to Pinecone Festival. That one we're going to have to talk about too, because I think that's actually probably our youth year season because the boys have a bye that weekend, and they usually have the bye on the youth year season. So I'm thinking Pinecone Festival.
I'll tell you this: getting a hold of us between October and December is pretty hard, and then about May through June is also pretty hard. That's when we put the fish in the freezer and we put our deer in the freezer in October to December.
Yeah. Our Louisiana Life said, hey, we just hit 976 subscribers. Whoop, whoop, so close to that 1,000. Guys, go check them out. They're only 24 away from 1,000. You guys probably have plenty of watch hours from your lives, right? I think all of Oklahoma is Tornado Alley. I almost said that too. John, I bet you're getting excited for fall. He's going to get that turkey this year. So far got halfway.
I'll tell you what, there's been several times I've been deer hunting and had turkeys come under my stand and think I'm going to take one with my bow. But I think it's easier to shoot a turkey from the ground than it is a tree. For whatever reason, turkeys, one of them is always looking up. And you slightly move, and all them turkeys get nervous and start moving out.
I don't even think I've seen a turkey I was hunting before. I think I finally did see a pig. I saw a pig last year.
Whenever I was a kid growing up, there was a lot more turkeys than there are now.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen one. Janae said, this reminds me of the movie Wizard of Oz. It's a sentimental film because it's the very last movie my grandma and I watched together in the hospital. Oh, that's my Nana's favorite movie.
So Our Louisiana Life has been, I was watching a short earlier where they're feeding their bull oatmeal cream pies. So maybe we need to, we've got a young bull and he's starting to get an attitude. And we've been saying we need to go down there and feed him and, you know, maybe get him a little more softened up to us. Maybe oatmeal cream pies will be the trick.
Hear that, Shayla? We have the same mindset. Yes. Jennifer said, here the government just don't allow unpasteurized milk sold anywhere in Canada. I may or may not. I just bought 20 freshly processed free-range chickens from a farm. Nice.
You know, this is what you got to ask yourself. Why do they ban unpasteurized milk?
Hey, Xander.
How dangerous could it be? You might get the squirts. I mean, how bad can unpasteurized milk really be?
I'm surprised they let you buy bread from the store because it gets moldy. Mold is not even bad for you. You can eat mold, and I mean, you're gonna get sick. Maybe that's how they discovered penicillin. Oh, Xander's listening as he deals with life. Let's see.
And Johnny kind of hit the nail on the head. He said there's lots of great times to be in the woods during the times of sports. And so I did wrestle whenever I was in middle school.
Hey, Nick and Zoe are here.
For one season, but it got in the way of my trapping and my hunting. And me and my dad did a lot of that growing up. And my dad told me, he was like, I'd have no problem with you wrestling. And I said, well, I'd rather spend more time out in the woods hunting and fishing and trapping and stuff. So I don't think I'm going to wrestle anymore because they wanted us practicing 2 times a day. There was one time in high school, it was off season, I don't know, January sometime. And my coach, I went to the weight room. It was after 3:00, technically after school had ended, but we worked out till like 5:00 in the evening every day. Well, it was going to get dark. It's January, and it had snowed. Man, I was fired up. There was snow on the ground. I knew my dad was going to want to go hog hunting, so I'm getting ready to get out of there. I said, "Hey, coach, it's snowing. I'm going hog hunting. I got to get out of here." He was like, "You're going to put hog hunting before football?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I'm going to put hog hunting before football." He got mad about it, and I was like, "Well, you can deal with it. You can find you a new left guard and a new defensive tackle if you're going to get that mad about it, because I'll put hog hunting before football any day." And he never once questioned me on that again. There was a couple times I missed Saturday film sessions on our 13-1 senior season too, because hey, the deer were going to be moving. I'm going bow hunting in the morning.
Our Louisiana Live said we're trying to come to Pinecone Fest, even though it's going to be a mess with deer season. Jenny said, "I don't care about my numbers. I'm in it for the fun and the journey." We need a pile of watch hours. Youth deer season is a week after Pinecone Fest, and Ryland don't have a game, but Levi does.
Did you say
so
Louisiana Life does lives? I haven't seen one.
No, I didn't.
Hey, you guys do a live, and you'll get how many hours?
We got 150 the other night, just as we ended the stream. That didn't include everything that was watched.
You do a live, and we'll come watch.
Yeah.
Schedule it, and we'll try to make it a point to watch your live, and you'll get some watch hours. Johnny
killed a pile of ball turkeys with a bow. Deer season is October. I love all animals. What exactly is Pinecone Festival? We're at 955 subscribers as well. Getting close, Clausen. You guys go check their channel out as well. They're getting very close. 45 more. Jennifer said it's because they like us to be sick and poor, even if it's healthy. Yep. Yeah. So,
kind of to beat the dead horse, Johnny had said there's a lot of good times for the woods during the fall sports. And so I don't know if you guys seen my shorts the other day, but I said that I had to confront some spiritual battles. And that came down to, technically we signed something to play in this league that we're not allowed to talk about it on social media. So I won't name the league.
Technically sign it.
Shayla signed it for me.
I didn't even put your name. I only signed mine.
Well, that's funny. But So I'm not supposed to talk about it, so I'm not going to name the league or the person, but they had very nasty music playing during games and stuff. And I confronted the league officials about it, and they got very upset that I would bring that up. That the music, all of them were pretty much upset. Oh. It's just the one acted very childish about it, the main official. And at that point, we started talking about how much longer are we going to participate in these sports leagues. So we're talking about getting into maybe some 3D archery with the family, getting all the kids involved in 3D archery, and maybe just spending more time in the woods. I'd love to get Levi efficient with a bow and get him in some deer stands out here on some public land.
Our Louisiana Live says we're going to try a live tomorrow night if my son's football doesn't take too long. We get out at 8 tomorrow night, so we will try to catch it if it's any time after that.
Yep. We've got football practice on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, every Thursday.
Yeah. Seth, hello. New here, just checking out the channel. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for stopping in. Seth. Okay, I think we're finally caught up. Oops, I am clicking buttons.
We're from Central Oklahoma. Almost as central as you can get. Maybe slightly east and slightly north.
Massachusetts. Never been there.
My scale business is Minuteman Scale. So, I mean,
what are you getting at there?
Massachusetts, Boston,
I know,
Massachusetts. That's where our independence all started. Was up in that area.
So that's your connection with him?
Yeah, Minuteman Scale. Paul Revere.
Works for the biggest RV park in. Okay, what is that? Yogi, the Jellystone?
So you don't have to do StreamYard. StreamYard is really good at bringing other people in on your lives, and we're not experts at it by any means. You can just schedule a regular live on it.
Kind of what this was for. I want to play around with it and test this out. We do need to do another live to bring somebody on. Maybe we'll try that next week and see how that goes. I'm planning it ahead. Y'all check out Creekside Chronicles. Come to my community tab. Okay. We will have to.
Foothills Appalachia's out of here. Good night.
Good night.
Check out their channel if you. I mean, they're pretty good gardeners from what I've watched on their channel. So if you like, learning a little bit about gardening, they're definitely people to do it from.
Mm-hmm. Do you know who Creekside Chronicles is? He watches certain channels, and I watch more of certain channels. So
I barely remember my own YouTube name.
Yeah, I know you
I probably watched them.
Oh, there's Jan. Hey, Jan. Klaus said I've been to Massachusetts for an ice storm one time. It was beautiful where I was. I was working on some small towns around Ballystall, Springfield. I'm going to do that first one, but we got to do a few lives before the giveaway. It looked a little bit crazy. Yeah, our first live was so awkward. My friend texted me last week and she said, I watched your first live. You guys have come a long way. Yeah. It was really hard to get used to. Just, I will give you a tip. Make sure you read out the comments that are coming in because we were just answering. And then when I went back and rewatched the live, it was terrible. Nobody had it. I mean, you didn't, unless you were in the live reading the comments, you didn't know what other people were talking about. So for the playbacks, it's easier if you read the comment and then answer it. Which sometimes we still mess up, but this is only like our 6th live, I think. You're welcome, Angelica. That was fun. I enjoyed seeing Gage. He was really cute.
Did the homesteading with the laws come in?
Yeah, Angelica's on here. Oh, very cool. I'm in the city next to Springfield. I have to watch everyone at night. I'm so busy during the day.
I think about half of our subscribers are from Arkansas.
Arkansas and Oklahoma. Jennifer said she's used to Zoom. Yes, you were emailing about that too. I didn't even know YouTube and Zoom could link up. I haven't used Zoom, and I mean my kids did for
a lot of the corporations used that stuff during the unspeakable 2020 to 2021, 22.
That was like 3 years. It's always a learning process.
But isn't Zoom a Chinese company?
I don't know.
Pretty sure they are.
Make sure you're on live chat, not top chat. He reminds me a lot of Huxton. The way he was lining up all the cars in color and by color, however he was doing that. Huxton used to do that too. So y'all were saying you want him to drive the tractor. I think he'll catch on, no problem.
Well, yeah, for sure. Really Temu is. I mean, hey, here's my stance on Temu and Alibaba and stuff. If you want to buy cheap Chinese stuff, more power to you. You might as well buy it and cut out Walmart, cut out Amazon. You might as well just jump. If you want to go straight to the source and just go ahead and get it cheaper, more power to you. I mean, or else 99% of what you're going to buy is just going to have a bunch of middleman's markup on it. And I understand that does employ people, but so does buying it from Temu and Alibaba, because it's going to hit the port and you got to pay people at the port and whatnot.
And our mail workers here.
I guarantee you this: if I bought everything made in the USA, I would be totally bankrupt, because our consumerist system, the way that they've made it so much cheaper for people to import from China, has just led us to be a country that is dependent upon them. And our wages, our salaries do not cover American-made goods. They really don't. TikTok.
Our Louisiana Live said, yeah, I like the interaction when I'm on a live and chatting and someone never acknowledges you. I'm like not going to push in to make them love you if you're just going to ignore. Yeah, that's happened to us a lot.
Yeah.
I won't mention certain channels.
Johnny said he seen the calf in our Chinese seats. That's real funny, Johnny. I'm going to bring that calf over to your place so he can eat it. He's like a goat. He'll eat anything.
He's like a little kid.
Do not set. We can't film anything because he'll go lick the camera, knock it over, chew. He'll try to take the selfie stick and eat it. And he's about to get eaten.
No, he's not. Levi has been training him. I got a short I'm gonna post later. My phone screen's been broke. I finally got it fixed, but now my camera broke, so I gotta fix that. But I got a short I'm gonna post from Levi. He's been training him. He got Rylan to ride him, and he actually rode him today. Hey, Suzanne. Hey, Ryan and Keith, or one of the two are in here. Thank you, Seth.
Thanks for subscribing.
Appreciate it.
I mean, and I don't mean to say like just buy from China. It doesn't matter. I'm probably not as patriotic as I used to be, mainly because of the last few unspeakable years. But, I'm still a very patriotic person. If I felt like, I could make a difference by buying American, I would totally try to. But I feel like as far as our consumeristic level that we've reached as a country, there's no turning back without. I mean, it'd probably take two decades to reset as a made in America country. I think it would take at least 20 years, and that would take a lot of sacrifice. I mean, there ain't no Amazon Prime in a made in America country. There's not. There's no warehouse full of just surplus American goods. That's not going to happen.
Our Louisiana Life said one of my dogs just ate a $750 seat off my lawnmower.
Hey, you probably find that seat cheaper on Alibaba. Just get it. You got to find the maker before it's imported by Husqvarna or whoever.
Angela critters. Sounds a lot like Gage and Scar. Can't do anything without them messing with everything. Yeah. Jennifer, we love the country, but not the government or what the government has done to it.
Hey, that's a pretty good way to say it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I've been tempted and looked into land in Russia because the land is so affordable, and because the people there are very conservative people. They have a lot of the same values that I do. God first, family second, country third. And I respect that about their people. And honestly, I think our government is probably more wicked than Russia's. Our government is so bad. But I'm not saying Russia's is great either. No, they're probably just as bad as each other. Who knows? Johnny said, "You're right, but some things he'll pay more for, like race parts for the GTO, and I can see that. I mean, dang sure ain't no Chinese machine shop gonna care about how well it fits up to your Pontiac, like somebody who is a true Pontiac, connoisseur and enthusiast who makes parts for it. Muscle car enthusiast."
One of our subscribers said the best thing one time: "Country boys make America great again," or something like that. Absolutely, man.
I'm pretty sure that's my Uncle Bob, so I'm voting for Kamala. That's funny. That is funny. That's got to be my uncle.
Probably. Russia has the strongest economy in the world right now, too. I was considering moving there 1 or 2 years ago. We looked into it and get land really cheap.
Oh, man.
I think anyone is voting for that thing.
Yeah. Beautiful land over there, too. I know they're growing seasons in some of these places where it's really cheap, or probably very short, but
I'll only not vote for her if we hit 5,000 subscribers before January 1st. I guess November.
This is what I would say before we get off the Russia topic is we have more reasons to be friends with Russia than reasons to be enemies with them. And it's only governments and principalities. We wrestle against principalities, not against flesh and blood. Or we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers and wicked people and high places, or however that goes exactly. And do not judge that country based upon what you think about their government, because they can look at us and they can say, look at that circus too. They can say, look at our government. And they can call us a circus over here too. Look at the White House chief medical, whatever her name is, or its name is, Rachel Levine. And look at the nuclear guy that was stealing luggage, the bald clown face dude that was stealing luggage, and they had to
our military commercials. Oh my God.
And our military recruitment commercials and stuff. I mean, these countries can look at us like we're a big joke too. So all I'm saying is I have respect for the people, individuals.
Yeah. Johnny said strength of the part is what I'm looking for. Porosity of Chinese steel doesn't interest me. That's funny. Johnny up there. Strength of those parts.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of that, Johnny, I was doing a job for my employer, and I was cutting through some 1-inch steel, Chinese steel. Pretty much all of our steel is imported nowadays. And it's got a Mexican tag on it, but it's called the Tijuana two-step. So it's cheaper for corporations. So this is something you may not know about importing goods. Like when Donald Trump says, I'm gonna tax China. I'm gonna tax China. What he's actually saying is he's going to active because in Mexico the tariffs are still relatively low. So if you're buying a huge volume of goods, what these corporations will do is they'll order them to Mexico, and then they'll just pay somebody to freight them up from Mexico to the United States. So if you're buying dozens of containers, shipping containers, it's going to make sense for you to just order it to Mexico and pay the tariff fees from Mexico. Mm-hmm. So they order from China to Mexico, they slap made in Mexico stickers on it, and then they bring it up to the United States. So don't ever believe about half of what you hear from politicians and from news networks and stuff. They're not truly trying to fix the Made in America problem that we're talking about. Even Donald Trump, I'm sorry, he's not fixing those problems.
Jennifer said, if only people knew the truth about Russia, I really wish they did. I support Russia 100%. Clausen, the Arkansas governor, ran some large Chinese landowners out of Arkansas. She's trying to make it all about USA. Dakota, read the book Pawns in the Game.
I'm not a big reader, but I could probably look into it and get a pretty good synopsis.
You could probably find an audiobook. Ephesians 6:12. Leisure Nation RV is the place. Might be the biggest, but not be the biggest. I don't know. Jellystone's just a big one that I know of. They're looking at us as a joke right now. Yes.
Who? Isn't it?
Clausen.
Yeah.
Johnny, we finally figured out
sad.
here in Oklahoma. You messed me up. I was reading. We finally figured out that out here in Oklahoma too, Clausen. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, she said the Chinese own Hawaii. I don't know if I should even say. I was going to say Project.
Trump's.
I'll use a different terminology. What color do you think aqua describes? Like what main color?
Teal or blue.
Blue. Yeah. So I'll call it. Aqua describes blue. I don't, because honestly I don't keep up with YouTube terms, so I don't want to say the actual word. But Project Aqua Beam. You might look into that with Hawaii, and you may start to understand why the whole place burned down. Or Maui did.
Bob said Trump's ear-healed whale.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about all that, to be honest.
A lot of spiritual.
I really don't.
With that,
I believe about 10% of what I see and about 2% of what I hear.
Chinese are about to own America. They're moving in everywhere. And Canada too, Jen. Our next door neighbors are Chinese. Actually, no,
Jennifer, it refers to.
Now, but it hasn't been cleaned out.
You'd have to look up replace aqua with blue and just Google that terminology, Jennifer, and you'll find what I'm looking for or what I'm describing. Nope. You may have to go like Rumble or BitChute or something.
Keith Orion said no audiobook available, written in 1958. Looks like you're gonna have to do some reading. You answered that. Okay. That verse is the one Dakota was trying to tell everyone. Oh, thank you. I'm terrible.
Well, I knew.
When I was in Awanas.
When she said Ephesians 6:12, I knew what she was talking about.
No, I didn't. When I used to do Awanas, and I was the number one in my whole church, and I beat when I went to the competitions I won, but I cannot remember verses to save my life now. It's awful.
Well, Clausen, what I was trying to explain about that, though, whenever they tax them from China. So, like, for example, on my YouTube channel, here a while back, I ordered some Alibaba, some backhoes off Alibaba. I did pay a high tax. You know, I paid, I don't know, over $1,000 basically in taxes and fees. And so I did pay the price for importing from China. But if I were a bigger importer, like say I was importing 100 of those, what I would do is I would order them to Mexico and then just pay a few truck drivers to bring them up from Mexico, and you would eliminate all of your tariffs from China because Mexico doesn't tariff China like we do. So there's always a way around for these corporations, and when these politicians make these things, these tariffs up or these different rules and laws and regulations, they always have their buddies in mind. They always have somebody in mind like, hey, my constituents want me to do something about made in China or made in America. But so what they do is they make it look as if they're solving the problem, and people go, yeah, I'm going to vote him in again. But in reality, their buddies always have a loophole around it. So, for somebody like me just trying to buy a cheap product, I'll pay, but not the corporations, if that makes any sense.
Jennifer said it's literally called UN Blue the color.
Oh, I don't know. I don't understand the.
Blue, unblue, or UN blue?
Oh, is she saying that the blue that? I think what she's saying is the blue that blocks the beam is UN blue.
Oh.
I think that's what she's saying. She can say yes or no.
Oh.
If that's what it.
Bob said, "Are you a fan of Project 2025?" Isn't that?
So I can't say much about Project 2025. What I'll say is my understanding of what Israel is totally different from what many people's understanding of Israel is. I could say this without getting in trouble. I believe in Old Covenant being fulfilled by Christ. I believe that the New Covenant are those who believe in Jesus Christ as being the only begotten Son of God and follow Christ's example of, and people say this all the time, you're not supposed to judge as a Christian. Yes, you do judge. You judge people's fruits. You decide, are these people worthy of my time and my words of wisdom? Are they worthy? Do you cast your pearls before swine? You by following Christ, you judge and you teach accordingly. Those are Israel. Now, the book of Revelations does talk about 144,000. That's not very many, but that's 12,000 from all 12 tribes. They are going to be saved and elect. But Israel is the chosen people, and Israel are those who follow Christ. Without Christ, you cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. That is my belief. So I wouldn't say I'm a fan of, I didn't know what Project 2025 was until Trump said that he was not a part of it, even though previously he was a part of it. But anyways, I didn't know what it was until then. I have not studied it. I honestly don't care. I have my beliefs. I have my beliefs as to what Israel is, and I move towards that with full faith in Christ, irregardless of what some popular movement is. I don't get involved in populist movements. I just let the Holy Spirit guide me in what I believe. I don't get involved in populist movements, if that makes sense. So I was answering Bob's question about Project 2025 if I totally lost anybody. And if you want to know what Project 2025 is, you'd have to go look it up, because I honestly just don't even know enough about it to try to explain it.
Jennifer said, "I know the whole truth on that one. I get my info from top U.S. Navy intelligence. I wish they would have the whole truth online, but everything gets removed." Yes. Clausen said, "Yes, I looked into that after you bought them." Shayla, I feel you. I was in missionettes and Girl Scouts. Johnny, I can tell you what I'm not a fan of, Bob. Jennifer, like what they are doing with the gas. They are putting a sanction on Russia gas oil, so they have other countries buy it from that country. It's still from Russia. Yeah. Agree with Johnny. The shade of blue is UN blue, United Nations blue.
Yeah. So, like I said, I only go as far into something as I feel like I need to. I know the truth on Project UN blue. I know the truth on it, and there was enough merit there for me to know what was going on, and I didn't even have to look in long enough to know that the exact shade was UN blue.
Jennifer said, "Israel isn't what we are told. To start, it's a piece of land the Rothschilds bought and named Israel."
The British, the European Israels.
I like Jennifer. She's.
But I mean, here's the deal. all of God's creation is holy. Every grain of sand, the ground that my homestead's built upon is holy. It's all God's creation. It should be treated with absolute respect. And I believe that we can't, people are like, oh, Jesus is going to come back and he's going to rule from that little tiny place in the Middle East. Are we really trying to measure God? Are we trying to measure him? Are we trying to put a tape measure to him and say, this is how big God is? All I have to understand is our new covenant in God. What Jesus came here, the message that he brought, that's what I have to understand. I'm not supposed to be able to measure God. You know, one day when I'm standing before him, I'll be able to measure him with my own eyes. But right now, I can't do that. So I get kind of fed up with people trying to use a ruler to put God in a box. That's what I get kind of fed up with. So if God wants to make it all about that little piece of land over there, here's the other aspect of that. I can't stop him, and I can't complete his. If like a lot of people will believe it's prophecy, and we have to help fulfill the prophecy. We need to fulfill the prophecy. Listen, if that's what God wants, irregardless if you say no or yes, it's going to happen. So I'm not here to fulfill God's prophecy. God will fulfill his prophecies. I don't care what your interpretation or what you read in, say, like the book of Zechariah. I don't care what you read and what you think you understand about it. It will be done the way God sees it to be done, the way he said it was going to be done. What we wrap our minds around and what we try to understand about it doesn't matter to God. I mean, it does. He wants us to understand it correctly. But what I'm saying is what we read from it and what we try to make of it isn't going to matter in the end, because it's going to be done the way he wants it done.
Clausen said, so you won the Timothy Award. My 12-year-old last year in this in Awana, and he's trying to win the Timothy Award. I don't remember. Either it was before my time, this was 20 years ago, or I don't remember, or I didn't get there. I don't remember. We did the what are those called? I don't know. We went to other churches and competed with other churches, and that's.
I dropped out of the Awanas because all the girls are really mean. I'm serious.
But that's really cool, though. We have Awanas here. I thought about putting the boys in, but I don't know. I might eventually. We start school tomorrow, so I'm planning on. We're going to try to learn a memory verse at least once a week. I respect others' opinions, but Galatians 5:22. Galatians. It talks about the olive branch being grafted in. Is that verse?
No, that's Romans. Oh. That's talking about.
Agreed, Johnny. John 3:16.
It's
Amen.
talking about
100% with you. Anything that does not follow the Constitution, anytime the judicial system is used as a weapon against your political opponents. Amen, Johnny. Can you give an example, please? Said Bob. Ephesians 6:10-18. Jenny.
What? Now what?
I'm going through the comments. Bob said, can you give an example, please? And then Johnny said, anything that does not follow the Constitution, anytime the judicial system is used, why can't I say that word? As a weapon against your political opponents. Bob, I don't even think I have to. Everyone in this chat, other than you already know.
If this is my Uncle Bob, I think he's more. It may not be my uncle. Oh, I don't know. But if it is my Uncle Bob, I think he way more aligns with Johnny than he realizes. I think maybe he's just being facetious. I thought, when he said, so I was voting for Kamala, that seemed like something he would say out of a joking manner. I think he's being facetious. If this is my uncle, I have no clue if it is.
He said, no problem. Sorry, I wasn't trying to start a fight. Probably. Clausen said the Timothy Award is awarded to the kids that finished their books. Well, I don't know if I did that or not. I know at one point when I was in, we got these little badges and you had little charms that hung across it. But before I finished that, we switched over to like a little paint palette. You got stickers instead. And I don't know if I finished at that point. But I think I did it for probably 4 years. My parents were Awana leaders in it.
Chestnut Hills, backdating videos. Yeah.
She got bored. Too much politics. We'll see you guys. Thank you.
I could talk for hours about politics.
Yeah, we know.
The only problem is YouTube.
Thanks for joining.
Won't let me say things that.
Check the channel. Only rich people can. Only rich people can.
What did Bob say specifically that?
He said, "Can you give an example
of what? I don't."
It's not your Uncle Dakota. Good night, Nick and Zoe. I do not remember the Timothy Award, and I thought it was 3 years. Oh, there's Mom. Yeah, I can't remember if that was part of it or not. I mean, that was.
What did he?
I'm getting old now. It won't let me go up. Are you a fan of Project 25? No, that wasn't it. It was before that. Trump's ears healed well. There's only 4 comments. Oh,
I don't know.
He said, I can tell you what I'm not a fan of, Bob. And he said, go ahead.
But, I don't know what he meant by Trump's ear healed well. But this is what I'll tell you is I don't know what truly happened. I don't know that some people say second shooter. Some people say it was that kid. Some people say nothing happened. This is what I'll tell you. Some people try to say, oh, if he got shot with it in the ear, if he got shot in the ear, it'd blow his ear off. Now, guys, I am very experienced in firearms and ballistics. I have an associate's degree in gunsmithing. I am a veteran. I've been hunting and toting firearms into the woods by myself since I was 9-10 years old. I am very experienced in this matter, and for sure, if he were to be shot in the ear, there is a very high likelihood that it would do nothing more than put a hole through his ear, because there is not enough mass to there's not enough mass to exchange the energy of the projectile into his ear. So therefore, there wouldn't be a lot of damage done. So maybe that Bob guy is saying that it's impossible that he was shot in the ear because his ear healed well. And if that's what he's getting at, I can promise you that there's not enough mass in a human ear to exchange the energy from the projectile.
Curtis said, y'all doing tonight from Louisiana? We are in Oklahoma, Curtis. Clausen said, I taught it 15 years and my wife is on year 19. I do know there are different versions of Awana. Oh, I see. I kind of remember it. I kind of want to say I do, but
I don't.
Like I said, it's been a long time.
I don't remember because the girls are so mean. If you didn't remember your verse, they just pick on you and make fun of you. I didn't want to go back. Little girls are mean.
I wasn't mean. I always stood up for everybody. Sometimes things are programmed to only post trigger words, topics to cause issues. Most slides have it. Are you a subscriber? Are you on subscriber mode? I don't know.
I
No, I
don't
don't
think we
think
put it
so.
on subscriber mode only.
No, because I don't know who Curtis is. Hate to go. Oh, yeah. Bye, Jan. If you're still on here, I don't know if
We're from Central Oklahoma, Curtis.
Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Salute to all our veterans. Thank you. I don't think he meant to. This is off the Awana site. Okay, y'all on the top of Louisiana? No.
No, we're probably 5 hours from there. 4, anyways. Oh, how far is it to Broken Bow? That's not very far away. Broken Bow's pretty close.
We're probably 4.5 to 5 hours. I am watching Janae. Do y'all know Curtis? No, we do not. Oh, okay, that's the problem. I'll always be on subscriber mode. It really helps keep it clean. If you're in subscriber mode, so I guess other people wouldn't be able to join unless they're subscribed?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like limits and stuff you can set. Like you must subscribe for a minute, you must subscribe to 5 minutes, so on and so forth.
Curtis was in our live earlier. Oh, okay. I missed that.
Well, Bob, I don't know what you was getting at with Project 2025, but if you want to ask me a question that I can't fully answer on YouTube, and you want to know my stance on it, then you'd have to email me at oldpecanhomestead@gmail.com. I just can't answer certain things on here, but I'm not afraid to give you my opinion. I'm really not. And I know Trump was a part of that at one point, but then recently disavowed it. That's about as far as I know on that topic. But there's some underlying things that I think gives it.
What? Hater. I thought I knew Santa Claus, but it didn't work out. Yep.
But like I said, I'm not afraid to discourse privately about it. If I just hope you don't harass me if we don't agree on something. But I mean, I guess I can just block you. That wouldn't be a big deal.
I don't know who Honor is, but thanks for stopping in. Jenny said, "Let's talk about gardening and fall fun
Santa
stuff."
Claus. What does he mean? I thought I knew.
Yes, Jenny.
Did that Honor person say something before that?
I don't think so. Gardening and fall fun stuff. Beard. Well, I'm terrible at gardening, and I am excited for fall, but not too excited because that means winter's coming after that. I never would harass you, promise.
I'll tell you what we're gonna try to do better I think what we're gonna try to do better as a homestead this year is going to be starting in the winter. We need to get on top of our gardening ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
So with my dad getting sick in the late winter, early spring, it really just hit us all at once, and we didn't get a very good start on our garden this year. And I wouldn't the time that I spent up there, I would not take back for having the best garden in the world.
No.
But that being said, if we had got on top of it in the winter, like we should have, we probably would have had a better outcome.
We had decided that we wanted to move, and so I didn't want to do anything too big because we were going to build beds. We were going to get a watering system. We were going to go all out. And then we kept going back and forth on whether we wanted to move or not. And that we just decided, hey, we'll keep it small. We'll plant in containers, and we'll move the containers if we move. We were going to look at a place, and then his dad got sick, and it's been put off and put off and put off. So we still don't know what we're doing. We're just leaving it in God's hands. And
we're just going to keep building our homestead and carrying out our plans.
We have a dream, and we hope that it works out. It would be amazing. But right now, yeah, we're not going to put anything off. I've got fabric that I'm going to start laying down, and we're going to get that knocked out soon.
After the first frost, we're burning all that grass and stuff that's in there.
I couldn't find a push mower either. I can't fence
so
big one.
So in the beginning of the live, we kind of hit on this. Being truly self-sufficient isn't really a very
me too, Jennifer.
Isn't a very sincere goal. You're going to need to network with people. So what we need to start doing is try to find some local people and start really trying to get people motivated to sharecrop, or our version of what sharecropping would be. And that would be to try to grow just a couple of things and do it really well. That way you could focus, like say one person's responsibility was sweet potatoes and squash. They could really focus on, they could grow whatever they want for themselves, but for the sharecropping, they could really focus on the sweet potatoes and the squash and trying to produce them, to the best of their ability. And then somebody else could do the tomatoes and the
that was something
corn,
that we planned
or whatever the case would be.
We were going to do that this spring as well, but the guy that had came up with it was.
But we need to find like at least 4 to 6 people that are interested in it locally.
He ended up passing away this year too, right before all of that and planting. So that was it's been a really, really rough year.
But what we did do good though was we did, like one of our neighbors, we were going to do that with them. We were talking about doing the vegetables with them, but we did end up raising our butcher beef on their property, and they got a half a beef out of letting us run our beef there, and their daughter was doing a lot of the feeding, or pretty much all the feeding of the steers. So, we kind of did that as far as meat goes, but now we have another neighbor. She's got cows that she's been milking. She's going to give us 10 pounds of butter, and then we're going to give her some meat too. So doing a lot of bartering, which is pretty cool. It's I think we need to make shirts, make the bartering system great again. Yeah. Let's make t-shirts. Hey, we got our new shirt. Jennifer said, I literally said the same thing, everything in 5-gallon buckets so I can move it sadly or easily, but won't be able to do so. Put my house on. Okay. Till next summer. Yeah. Yep. Farm to table said community supported agriculture seems to be a good idea. And I believe that would be, I believe that to be probably the most sustainable way to do it, because somebody might get blister beetles, but the neighbor 10 miles down the road may not get blister beetles, and so on and so forth. There's more security in doing it that way than trying to, say you put a 2-acre garden in. 1 year it might work out pretty good, but the next 3 years it may not work because you may get hit with plague after plague, Yeah. Even to the best gardener. Yep. You might get a hailstorm, and 2 miles over, they may not get a hailstorm. 2 years ago, I don't think I planted at all because we were working on redoing the heads on the truck, and I had zero time. I had all my seedlings started; they were doing great. But anyway, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because that year ended up being the massive drought, and there was so many grasshoppers that everybody was having a hard time. So it kind of worked out that year particularly. But I tell you what, grasshoppers were thick around here, but our chickens and our turkey and whatnot have been free ranging, and on our place itself, grasshoppers haven't been an issue. But I know when I was mowing the neighbor's place, there were millions of grasshoppers. Any problems with armyworms out your way? No, we had 2 last year, but not really. Isn't that? I haven't seen any. Armyworms the big problem with wheat? Yeah. I didn't even know what those things were. And I'm sitting there taking a video of this beautiful caterpillar. Or
Maybe that's a hornworm. Maybe I'm getting
You're
confused now.
thinking of the hornworms. Armyworms are little, but they're devastating.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we don't have those either. But the little hornworm, I'm sitting there taking pictures, a beautiful thing, and then find out what it really does to your plants. Oh. Yeah, it's still New Brunswick. If I go to U.S. because I can't get a visa, I have to be vaxxed. I'd rather stay here with snow. Oh, man. Grasshoppers. What grasshoppers? Please, chickens. Those things. Grasshoppers.
What did Jennifer say about having to be?
She's moving, and Johnny asked if she was going to still stay in Canada. And she said, if I go to the U.S. because I can get a visa, I have to be vaxxed.
Oh, does the United States still have that in effect? See, that's some of those things that I have to watch what I say, but those were things that really upset me with our politicians was, how scary it was to that reality being every American's reality. And the fact that our country was willing to do that to people who were just traveling here. We're not that far apart from these other countries who we think we're so much better than, is what I'm trying to get at. And
Bob said, how much land do you have? We are on we own 9 acres, and then there's another 2.5 that the previous owner still has because of the cell phone tower on it.
Josh said, no, you do not need it. So maybe they lifted that.
Oh,
but
well,
I know for a while you did have
Alexander
to get
said
visas.
Sometimes it's in effect and sometimes it's not. No one can make up their mind. That's exactly right. Jennifer said part of the medical requirement to get a visa, I can legally live in the U.S. for 6 months to a year, but no.
Jennifer, I would say there's probably a good chance there's waivers for that.
Crazy. Religious exemption, gotta be something.
I'd say there's probably a good chance. I'm not gonna tell you what we do around here to a T because I don't want
just
any reason to be
up to date on all of them.
I know what they're saying, like hepatitis and
Josh said it's lifted.
Josh was talking about for the COVID related one. But I know like in our circumstance, it could be more strict for people trying to get visas, but there's always a way around it typically. And I'm right there with you. I'm not getting any of them.
There are some you have to get to live here in the U.S. I had to get them coming from Italy, but those have been in effect for over 100 years.
Yeah, well, 100 years or not, doesn't make me want to get it.
Medical requirements, which is to be up to date on that. I got in the U.S. for 6 months. No, dang, it's ridiculous. And most of those are standard in a lot of countries to move to. Man, I always forget. I don't even think about that stuff.
Hey, just get a flight to Mexico and just swim across the river.
Oh, Josh said to move here, yes. It's crazy. That's crazy. Because we can use religious exemptions on kids.
What's crazy is that all you got to do is cross the southern border and you can bring measles to infect massive populations.
Why can't they just have you test and see if you're clean and good to go and then let you come over? That's woo. Traveled overseas and back from U.S. this year. Totally. But she's referring
Jennifer,
to possibly moving here.
Just go to the border and say you're seeking asylum.
Only some of those work on visas and the rest don't. That's crazy. Just get on a boat, sail down to the southern border, walk in anything you want. No strings attached. Yeah, in fact,
they'll even put you up in the Ritz-Carlton.
They're even now they're saying you get 0% interest and 0% down or zero down on housing. That's not a visa. I can go to the U.S. legally, no, but to get gotcha. To be more than 6 months, you have to. That's crazy. Mom, you could probably go to Canada since your dad's Canadian. I think you can get back and forth. Asylum will totally work.
It's worth a shot. I'm not specifically mad at people that would want to come here because they do come from worse circumstances, and I could totally understand why people would want to do that. But one thing they don't understand is what we do have that they don't is quickly fleeting, and that a surge of them is only even more quickly depleting what we have and once had in this country. So that is why it's very upsetting. It's not specifically a lot of them as individuals. You got to think of it from think about it like if you were in those countries and you didn't have much money to do it legally, you would probably just, if the government was allowing the border to be wide open, you would probably just go there and say, hey, I'm seeking asylum too. So it's kind of it's our own government causing the problem. We all know that.
Johnny said, 150,000 no interest home loan in California, but only if you're undocumented. Yep.
I haven't even been paying attention.
I just seen that yesterday or this morning.
But what's 150,000 going to get you in California?
Come here the right way, yes. Just come over legally. I see why people just go there and stay there illegally.
All our government has to do is stop it. That's all they have to do is stop it. But they're not.
People sit there and talk about what the U.S. should have. I come from Italy and tell them, you're flipping nuts. You need to shut your mouth because you are going to be beeping this country over.
Ouch. Man, yesterday we went carp fishing. We went carp fishing with the boys and had a big one on, and it got hung up on a rock. It swam up by the bank and got hung up on the other side of the rock. And I went running down there like I was 20 years old again and jumping across wet rocks, and I slipped and pounded my kneecap into a rock. It's hurting.
That's because you always make fun of me. Bob said, Dakota, I really like how you put things in. Agree 100%. Right, Xander. Hey, we weren't supposed to let this go over an hour and a half.
Yeah, we'll end it sooner or later.
All right. We hadn't eaten dinner either. I don't know if the kids are.
Hey, this is my bone to pick with the meat packing industry. So we don't have our own pork in the freezer right now. We have some pasture pigs. I could harvest some of them. That was our processor good. Really got us over good on that one. But I don't have any pork in the freezer to speak of, and so we pick up a pork shoulder, and I get home, and the shoulder bone is missing out of or Boston butt, whatever you want to call it, but it's a pork shoulder. The bone's missing out of it. That really irked me off because I feel like when you cook a pork shoulder, that bone has two purposes. It tells you when it's done, and second, it cooks the pork shoulder from the inside out. So all that connective tissue gets to temperature quicker and breaks down. How can you barbecue a true Boston butt without a pork shoulder blade in it? And anyways, that led me to the topic when Shayla said dinner wasn't done, because it would have been done on time. I feel like if the pork shoulder bone was in there.
Xander said it's stupid because then they sit there and say, well, I visited. Visiting and living are two different things. Johnny, wow, carp fishing been a long time since fish for those. Us too.
Hey, they're fun to catch though.
It's been a long time
they are
since
a
we
blast.
actually fished.
There's nothing in the United States that fights as good as a carp, pound for pound.
Yeah, those. Oh wait, those
Flying
aren't
carp?
here. No, I was thinking of the little.
Skipjack?
Yeah, the skipjack. Stupid skipjack.
We were at Kentucky Lake Dam snagging skipjack or snagging anything that we could snag, but we actually started to try to snag a spoonbill because we never snagged one out of state. But there was a bunch of those Asian carp, and we're snagging a lot of those. And Shayla would snag into 14-inch skipjack. She'd go, "Oh, I got a good one on." It'd be this little bait fish,
Those
14 inches
suckers
long.
fight. I'm telling you. That was fun. That was one of the funnest fishing times I've ever had. And silver carp taste amazing.
Johnny said, if you pressure cook those carp, the bones are of no consequence. Hey, I'm actually interested in doing a catch clean cook on carp, but the problem is this hole that we're at gets very low this time of year, and it's very hot, warm water. And usually we've had good rain this year, but lots of times there's fish die-offs in it, and I just don't feel like it's the best place to get my carp, if you know what I mean. So I'd rather catch my carp in like a nice lake or something.
Do you eat the carp you catch?
Who said that?
Lori. The silver carp is delicious. It's one of the best fish out there, but they have bones in the meat that you have to pull out.
The silver carp. So the Asian carp are a white flaky meat, similar to like, I would say like cod or something, very flaky, very
fishy.
palatable, tasty fish. But the common carp that we're fishing for are a very oily, reddish, orange tinted meat.
They look cleaner than gar.
No, gar are very white. Gar are like clear white.
I haven't seen a carp meat in a while.
But carp meat is very oily, the common carp. So I have never eaten it because to me it's been it could be a total misconception. There's a lot of trash fish that I've now eaten that I like. But I've never eaten common carp. The way that I would eat it would be like Johnny said, in a pressure cooker, because that's the way I've heard of it being cooked. And because they do have a lot of bones in the flesh, I feel like there's a reason people cooked it that way, and I would like to try it that way.
Mm-hmm. If you pressure cook, the carp bones are of no consequence. Yeah. We should have tried that. I don't know why we didn't. We only brought one back. It was actually illegal to throw them back into the water in Kentucky because they were invasive. But we have them here in Oklahoma now, and I really want to go catch some. Now we can try it. Jennifer said, how can people even pay insurance rates plus deductibles? We don't. We got rid of insurance, and then we were massively blessed with the VA changing his rating. So we have insurance through the VA, but we did get rid of insurance before that because it was easier. We could have put that money back into a savings account.
Well, one time when I didn't have insurance, I went to the emergency room. We had like a $9,000 bill, and they were calling, we want our money like right now. And we didn't have that kind of money. So eventually we got tired of them calling, and we were like, hey, we'll give you like $1,800 right now if you'll just leave us alone after that. And they're like, okay, deal. I was like, all right. So I paid them $1,800. So, you know, that right there told me that everything's a big scam. Honestly, if insurance wasn't a thing, what would it cost to get a procedure at the hospital? If they could bill an insurance company $100,000, they would have to bill, capitalism. They would have to bill whatever people could commonly afford.
It's cheaper just to pay cash. It's cheaper because the billing people don't have to deal with the paperwork and insurance people put them through. Yep.
Johnny said the lower Illinois River is a great place for carp and buffalo. Fort Gibson Dam is good for both. I'll tell you this, carp and buffalo look very similar, but their flesh is nothing similar to each other. A buffalo is native and a carp is invasive. So but they look very similar, color and scales and mouth and whatnot. Buffalo are a very white fish, similar to like the Asian carp, and they're very good. We did do a catch, clean, and cook on buffalo.
The boys loved it, but the bones, again, we didn't pressure cook it, so the bones were there.
Our Louisiana life insurance went up $200 a month, and we've never had a claim.
Ours did too.
So that's the way they're going to come after people who own their property outright. There's two ways they're going to come after you. It's going to be insurance and taxes.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer said some states don't tell you, but if you make under a certain amount, you can get medical bill forgiveness. I looked into it for North Dakota, and that's how I came across it. Yeah.
Bob said you need the Canadian insurance system. I don't know if Bob's being serious, but I know I have a friend who has a lot of family in Canada, and his family pays for private insurance in Canada because they will die waiting. So I don't know if you're being serious, Bob, but I do know plenty of people that have experience in Canada, and it's not a good system.
We experienced something similar to Canada when we were in the military, and that was awful. You'd call for, like, when Levi was a baby, he had a cold, and
they'd say go to the emergency room.
It would take a month to get in, so we quit making appointments, and we literally just went to the emergency room.
They would tell you.
Anyway.
They would tell you when, what was it called, TRICARE?
Yeah.
They would tell, like, when you had something wrong, they would just say, well, just go to the emergency room.
Which it was. I like going to the emergency room anyway because it was faster. You got right in. It was quick and easy. You got your stuff that same day.
Well, Bob.
House insurance. What's that? No house insurance here.
Okay, Bob.
That's crazy.
I'll put it this way. Say a common American plan for a family is $500 a month and $10,000 deductible. That's what, $16,000 a year to insure a common family. I'm ballparking. I don't even know right now. But what do you pay? What percentage do you pay in taxes in Canada?
It is $900 to $1,500.
So if I make $60,000 a year and I max out my deductible on insurance, and I pay $16,000, that's 30% of my income roughly. And what are you paying in taxes there? I mean, so say you're making 60, you're probably paying somewhere around 20% in taxes. So you're right around the 50% tax rate or tax and insurance rate in the United States. What are you guys paying there? And then on top of that, it's not just what you're paying for that health care. It's the quality of health care that you're getting. I'm telling you, I know people that live there that live there and that pay for private insurance.
Sandra said your IV, the water fluids cost about $1 to make. They charge insurance $2,000. Insurance makes you pay at least $500 of that. I pay cash, pay $200 for that. That's ridiculous. No, we don't, Bob. I have a friend dying right now because of it. Yeah. Bob, there are people from Canada and other countries that come to the U.S. for medical help.
Hey, and then in Canada, if it just gets too tough surviving, then they'll assist you in your own suicide.
Jennifer said
that's a good system, where the government assists you in committing suicide. No thanks. I don't need that system, and I don't want it.
Jennifer said it depends on where you live. I had good medical before I moved here. I had a great doctor, 2 hospitals close by, but outside the big city. Might as well be third world country or third world. I have coverage, but no doctors here. 8 to 10 year wait list. 1 ER doctor for the whole 8 of the province, and 8 hours or more waiting in the ER. People literally died here waiting there. That's insane.
You know what, Jennifer? I guarantee you all of your politicians have private insurance or special doctors, something. I really don't know what they have, but it's either they have private insurance or they get special doctors being politicians.
Everybody's sitting there in the waiting room on YouTube trying to figure out how to stitch somebody up. I was literally just
Xander said it's not who's bleeding the most in a lot of these countries because of the medical system and insurance. It's who got there first.
Yeah. I think if I lived in Canada, I would just be buying my own medical books and reading like crazy. I know that there's things you can't get without having a license, but when you make a good friend and
Johnny said 2-year wait list with cancer. That's not healthcare.
Yikes. I really upset some people here. We do pay higher taxes for sure. I agree. We have to wait for treatments. If you have the money, you can go to the U.S. for immediate care.
I mean, I'm not saying we have a great system either, but I just know that from experience, talking to people, most people from Canada, they don't agree that what they got going is working.
Xander, you shouldn't have to go to another country. Yeah.
Yeah,
ours is getting
what do the
bad, though.
what do the leftists say lots of times? Healthcare is a human right, and I could agree with that to a certain extent. Like people should be given healthcare when they need it, but the solution definitely isn't to just levy a massive tax against your middle class to pay for everybody. That can't be the solution either.
Part of the problem is everybody goes to the doctor for the stupidest things. It's frustrating when I can't get in for something serious.
I need to
go in for a runny nose.
I got a head cold. I need to get tested to see if it's rhinovirus or coronavirus. What difference? What difference?
Because of the medical can in Italy, where they do care who's bleeding the most, but otherwise don't care. I was told I would never walk again. Now please stop piling on. I'm just sharing my opinion. That's okay. You're welcome to an opinion. We've had a little taste of that with the military, and we did
Jennifer
not care for it.
is talking about med beds. I don't know that med beds is truly a thing, to be honest. But I'll tell you this: I'd be wary of anybody who presents saying that they can just put you in a bed and magically cure you of all your ailments. That sounds kind of scary too. Sounds kind of like Antichrist.
I prefer not to go to the doctors. I don't have to. Exactly. We do not go.
Tony's in here from our cabin in the woods, our neighbor. He's in Florida visiting his mom and brother.
Cool.
What part of Florida are you like? Are you closer to
really
the east or west coast there? Like the Gulf or the Atlantic?
Like mom's heading out.
Teresa's getting tired.
Me too.
So on the east, the Atlantic. I'd like to see the Atlantic. Not that long ago, I went to the ocean for the first time I've seen the ocean. I flew over in the Black Hawk helicopter before around Kuwait. But the first time I got in the ocean, and it was in the Gulf down by Galveston. And when you find pieces of plastic floating around when you're 100 yards offshore, it's kind of disappointing. But I'd like to see the Atlantic because the water is probably a lot prettier.
Yeah. I have family in Florida. I don't remember where, but I got a cousin and an aunt.
Well, guys, I think we should probably wrap this up, even though Tony just came in.
He's in
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Johnny, what date is the drag race in Arkansas City, Kansas? I said that just distinctively Arkansas City because I guess they pronounce it up there Arkansas City.
My aunt used to pronounce it Arkansas.
But I refuse to say Arkansas because it's right on the Arkansas River and everybody knows it's Arkansas.
Showing my mom about lives we do. Hi, Tony's mom.
Hello.
This is where we sit and awkwardly talk to ourselves on the camera.
Yeah, we need to get over and
Just
see
seed
Tony
swap.
one of these days.
Well, he's out of town this week,
Oh,
but I have a
hey,
hat
Tony.
to give him.
Tony, you are a neighbor, and we were talking about something earlier. We're trying to recruit some neighbors for next year in like a what do we call it? Sharecrop adventure, where several neighbors get together and we all try to grow a crop of something and do really well at it. And then if we all grow, just 1, 2, or 3 things, when we harvest, we get together and share them and preserve them, can them, whatever, because you can't do it by yourself.
Johnny said September 14th. We have games 14th. Every week in Dakota.
Is that a Saturday?
Yeah. Oh, football. Old Ways Prepping Gardening Seed Swap Fall Edition happening soon. Cool.
Bob, I'm not afraid of a little difficult conversation.
Hey, Alina. Email me anything but spinach or parsnips. Look at your talk about it. American Dragway, Arkansas City, Kansas.
Man, I'd love to come up there. I've never been to a drag race. I think it'd be a fun time. But like we said, probably got football going on.
We do.
Gotta go chase the football around.
We were heavily into our dog hunting, shed hunting. That was taking up so many weekends. Now we're into football, and all 3 of them are playing. We got baseball in the spring. We just need to get out of sports. It's not like they're going to be professionals anyway. Huxton's going to be a farmer. Levi's going to be I don't know what they're going to do.
Bob said, I didn't even see that said stop hating Gillum. Oh, gosh. Hey, you just got to have thick skin, Bob.
He's probably being sarcastic, joking around.
Well,
Maybe don't be Johnny's pit crew. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you want me on your pit crew. I'm more of a redneck engineer than a mechanic.
We had a race at the state fair and I beat my friend changing a tire. A girl that raced showed me how to do it. Showed me the trick. I can make drag strips in my yard. We used to drag race, then swapped to dirt track racing 20 years, and now we go-kart racing. Very cool. We have a monster truck race place almost across the street on the highway. They do monster truck shows. We've always been too busy to go, but pretty cool. Actually, Dakota, we were from opposite sides of the tracks, but I think I would really enjoy sitting down and chatting with you. See?
Oh, I mean, I don't
Can't
know.
read
I don't know.
Can't read the tone in the text.
See, across the railroad tracks, that was always kind of an economic term, like, poor versus rich. So in that context, I don't know who was on the wrong side of the tracks growing up. But if you mean politically, then yeah, I mean, I could see where we're probably a little bit on the opposite side. But hey, I'll tell you this: this could wrap me up very shortly. I am so conservative that sometimes I am called a liberal by people because I am so conservative that they just can't understand my way of thinking.
We should all speak with each other regardless of which side of the track we're on. Totally serious. No, not that way at all.
But, well, guys, we just hit 2 hours, and I appreciate you guys staying here. I got kind of long-winded on some of my explanations, and I didn't just absolutely run everybody off. So
surprisingly, I live in a liberal province that hates Trump. Try living here.
But like I said, I didn't run everybody off. So I hope people didn't get too offended by some of the things I may have said. And maybe, like I don't mind Bob asking questions or saying certain things, honestly. I'm ready to discuss those things, and maybe, there's certain things that we could all learn from each other. I guarantee you I'm not going to agree with most people on a lot of things, but there's always a few things here and there that I can learn from other people or take into consideration whenever I go to learn on certain things in the future. But I enjoyed a lot of this live, and I hope you guys did too. And we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. Go eat some supper.
Yeah. So
I don't know what the kids are. If they got food or what they're doing.
They're pretty self-sufficient.
No, they are. I hope they didn't make a big mess because we're starting school tomorrow and I was trying to do a video on it, but we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. If you are in the live right now currently and haven't hit the like button, we'd appreciate it if you do that. Help us out. T-shirts. If anybody got a T-shirt, we will get the ones that don't have a hat mailed out tomorrow, and the ones that have hats, I'm still waiting on the patches to get in. So those will be out.
Hats still have to be made. So who had the beef again?
Pooch.
Pretty and Pooch
He's
won the beef. So he's got a hat. So before we ship the beef, we're going to get his hat done. And so on and so forth, hats and shirts.
Thank you, Xander. Thank you, Janae.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. See ya. I don't know how to end it on here. Here we go. Bye.